This idea that you need to be, you need to provide equality and representation and all of these like various things. Whereas you do it the old-fashioned way, everybody makes money, everybody's happy. But my question is, do you feel, and we really have at this point, and this is something I struggle with, even within the film industry, there are the macho, masculine, and I won't use any adjectives. They're just macho, some on purpose masculine type of ideas. And then there are women telling women's stories on the other side. And the masculine stuff is really successful. What is that, what does that tell us about us?
I think the first thing it tells us is that men mostly have access to the money to watch films. This is, again, I feel it comes back to women not having financial independence. And this has been known, this is not just my opinion. This is a fact that men are the primary movers towards cinemas. In most,
they choose what film.
They choose what film the family perhaps is going to watch. And even when the family is not going to watch, they are going to watch on their own. Right? So, and I'm not talking about, sort of urban woke families. So that, I think it tells you that, which is why, I literally met a studio head who said he does sex determination on scripts because it's the masculine scripts that are doing well. So they put to this test. It's bizarre, but this, you're right. It's a kind of it's a sign that perhaps, men are the primary consumers of much of this big macho content that we make. Having said that, you're right about the fact that perhaps even as women, we've become accustomed to watching these things and enjoying it, or like saying, theek hai, it's not exactly for me, but we just don't find ourselves represented anyway. We haven't for time immemorial, so we are accustomed to going and watching these films as well, right? So, they just do better. I don't know what to do.
I recently had this conversation with my husband. The film Gladiator, which was this blockbuster success, right? It had one very disturbing detail about how his wife and child were killed in the beginning of the film. And then it moves forward and he does all of these things. And as a viewer, I couldn't move past that one detail. That is the only part of that film that has stayed with me. And every time I even see the poster or hear the music,
you think of that.
I think of that one thing and my brain shuts down. But that was content that was not made for me.
Correct.
Right? And it was not, I don't know if filmmakers have to be sensitive to, I don't know. Yeah.
Different audiences have different buttons that people press. And I guess filmmakers have never been looking for women's buttons. They think all we really want is some sappy love story or whatever, and that's it. Women like action, women like, romance. They like a whole bunch of things that men like. They just like themselves represented on screen. Well represented. That's, I think, you can have the machoest people in any film and have the most interesting women characters, and that would be fine too, you know. But it's just that's not just
two separate things.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing that I feel we need. And that somehow is not the conversation. It's really about like, let's stop macho. Macho films are never going to end, right? We'll always have people who want to see fast bikes, big guys with huge biceps, and women in sexy clothes. Everybody wants that. Perhaps, but like the woman in sexy clothes can also, perhaps, or have some sort of role beyond that. There was a study done by TISS on, it was called Lights, Camera and Time for Action, and they were looking at the representation of women both on screen and behind the screen in a period, in a 5-year period, from 26 something till the lockdown. And they took largely some 20-25 regular mainstream films and then like 5 so-called women's oriented films. And shockingly, we all keep feeling, I've worked in the industry for like 24 years. I feel like things have just gotten better, right? I just feel like, oh, of course, you know, it's much better than when I started. But numbers say otherwise. Women are highly underrepresented, especially when it comes to writing. We keep thinking women screenwriters, women. When you actually go down credits, it's like some less than double digits women representation in those years in screenwriting or in any of the positions of decision making, let's say producing or directing, even when it comes to, you know, sort of the lead, you know, sort of crew members. But even on screen, something like less than, even the women's oriented films, there were some like 20% women who had a role that was not the romantic co-lead. So most women are resigned to playing a romantic co-lead, which is why, you know, after a certain age, everybody is worried about how they look.
And also, so with the advent of OTT and there's a lot more content just generally being made, that has not changed?
That has changed. That has changed it a lot. And I think that's what came from also from television, where women, you know, kind of, but it's just that somehow now, I mean, I don't want to put anyone down or anything down, but I feel very much that OTT also is looking to somehow follow the success of television. Like a lot of them are moving towards content that goes broad because they all want more subscribers and therefore trying to emulate like these TV tropes of household things or whatever. I mean, you know, it ends up being the same thing.